Today on Match Play, host Ray Adams goes head-to-head with PGA Tour Hall of Famer, the Supermex, Lee Trevino.
Hit it, hit it!
Lee Trevino,
nice
welcome to Match Play. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Good to see you.
Well, Mr. Trevino, this has been a long time coming. I caught up with Lee Trevino a couple of years ago in Orlando at the PGA Expo. And we were talking, and I asked you a few questions, and I've got 2 or 3 of those same ones. I'm going to ask you again for television now. And I promised you then, I said, one day, Lee, I want to get you on TV. And you said, anytime, Ray, anytime. Well, here's our anytime from Bristol, Virginia, and the Old Farm.
Oh,
You're
man.
here for the Mountain Mission Kids. And this is a wonderful charity helping so many children. I heard that thousands have graduated and college and just so much work. And I know that you also do a lot of work and things like that, and we're going to get to that here, but I want to talk a little bit about Lee Trevino and your career. He has 6 majors. He is a young man. I remember back in the day when I was knowing people from El Paso, they said, Lee Trevino, that guy, all he did is chip golf balls in our neighbor's backyard. What's that about?
I actually was hitting them from my backyard to the golf course. I lived on the golf course there at Santa Teresa. And they said I chipped them on their yard, but I didn't. I was actually going over their yard.
I thought you were pulling a John Daly of your day.
I was going over their yard to the 17th fairway.
Hitting over the yard, out of the fence, into the 17th
I had
fairway.
a practice tee, believe it or not, to the left of my house.
There you go.
And I could hit a 6-iron on the 17th fairway, and I used to hit balls out there all the time,
Now, that was a little bit after you grew up in Dallas.
Right.
You grew up in a family that was very, very, very meager in their financial situation.
Exactly.
I guess I could go so far to say
Dirt poor.
You grew up in a dirt poor family.
That's right.
Grew up in a dirt poor family, and you made your way into golf how?
Well, my grandfather raised me, and he was actually a grave digger at Sparkman Cemetery there in Dallas, Texas on Northwest Highway. And so what happened was there was a golf course next to our old house. And when I was a young guy, I used to go over there and look for golf balls and stuff, and I'd see them swinging and this stuff. My uncle used to caddy there, brought me a club home one time, and I was kind of just hitting balls around in the field, and it was actually a hay field. And I got pretty good with it, but I never pursued it. I never even thought about playing golf. I had no idea that it was a professional ranks or amateur ranks or what it was. I just saw people with a stick and a ball, and they were hitting it out there. And I had no neighbors because we were out there in the middle of nowhere, so it gave me something to do by myself. And then at the age of 17, I actually got in a little trouble when I was 16, almost 17, and instead of doing what they're supposed to do with me, they took me to the recruiter, and 3rd Marine Division, I ended up in the Marine Corps for 4 years.
Yes, you did.
And that gave me a little bit of structure and pointed me in the right direction. And I actually took up the game at 19 in the Marine Corps full time.
At 19 years old?
Yeah, 19, yeah.
And how quickly did you become, and how good did you become?
The thing that happened to me, and I don't know why, but there was rapid improvement. And every day I'd find something to do and how to hit this golf ball.
You were self-taught?
Yes, I taught myself. And I got better and better and better. I just tried to emulate some of the guys that I was caddying for. And I caddied for guys that swung the club pretty good, low handicappers.
At that time you were caddying?
You're right. And so I would watch how they swung and how they took the club back and the whole thing. And what I did is I kind of revamped it a little bit in the way that I believe that I could hit this ball from A to B. And I just got better and better and better. And the thing about it is I never hit a wall. I always saw improvement. And you know, some people practice and they never get any better.
Did you have the little figure 8 at the top back then?
I had the figure 8 at the top at that time, and I started cutting the ball a little bit more. I started cutting it when I watched Mr. Hogan hit balls, and the ball was curving to the right. And I never curved it to the right. I curved it to the left like everyone else. And then I realized that by curving it to the right, that I could hold the back of the left hand down the line a little bit longer, and the ball would go straighter, and the ball would go where I was looking at. That's one of the reasons that I was never long off the tee, is because I was what you will call a blocker. Now, Jack Nicklaus, the greatest player that's ever played the game, he was also a blocker. People don't believe that. If you watch Nicklaus's swing, and I analyze all these great players' swing, and I see what they do good.
Yeah.
Nicklaus had the fastest left shoulder I'd ever seen. And when you have that fast of a left shoulder, you hold the angle longer. The hands don't have time to start turning and doing all these funny things. And he turned that left shoulder. Webb Simpson today does that. Fastest left shoulder I've ever seen. And this is why he gets it. When you see people driving the ball erratically, one to the right, one to the left, it's because the shoulder slows down. And when the shoulder slows down, the hands start wavering. They start closing and opening and doing all these funny things. But I saw improvement very early. And then I started shooting 70 and then 69. And then I got to the point where I played Tennyson Park East. And I had like a +5 or a 6 handicap. And that was even before I ever went on, we even qualified for the U.S. Open in 1966. I was going around, I think. They never thought that I would make it playing professional golf simply because they didn't think my putting was good enough. What they didn't realize is the greens that we putted on were awful.
Well, the Gary Player just talked about that.
They were awful. And when you have awful greens, I mean, you're at the discretion of you getting the right bounces. Well, then when I went on tour and I saw the velvet, and I saw how smooth those greens were, I didn't believe I could miss one. And this is what brought me over the top.
Someone said, Lee, a few years ago to me, Lee Trevino was the greatest money putter in history. Tell us about that money putting.
Well, money putting is all about putting pressure on the other guy. And all you've got to do is twice. You just do it a couple of times on him, and then he's going to believe it. And then they start getting a little bit nervous.
Did you do that during your PGA Tour days?
Well, the PGA Tour days, it was easier to make putts. And the reason for it is because, I mean, a guy says, how do you feel when you come to 18 and you got a 5-footer to win the tournament or whatever? You understand? Or the tie or whatever. And I said, there's no pressure. He said, there's no pressure? I said, no. I said, because they have a second prize money too. And I said, if I don't make it, I'm still going to make some money. When you were gambling for your money and you missed it, it cost you. There's a big difference. There's a big difference about that. And so the difference is that I could do that when I was an amateur, when I was playing just for money games. I was making all these putts for money, and it was going to cost me out of my pocket. Whether I had it or I did not have it, it was going to cost me. When you got on tour, that was easy. It was easy because it didn't make any difference whether you made it or not. You're still going to make some money.
Did you feel pressure out there, though, when you were playing?
Everybody feels pressure. If you don't feel pressure, you're not human. The problem is that I was smart enough to realize that other guy had pressure, too. And we're both choking. We're both choking to death. But the problem, it comes down to mechanics. If he's nervous and I'm nervous, who's got the best mechanics? Who's got the less moving parts? The more moving parts you have, and if you're both equally as nervous, say from 1 to 100, you're both 70, the guy that's going to kill you is the guy that has less moving parts.
We'll be back with more match play right after these messages. You're a golfer because you golf. Golfers carry a lot of stuff they need, like your rangefinder, your cell phone, your dog. Okay, maybe not your dog. What you need is a secure organizer. What you need is the Range Gripper. The Range Gripper grips, secures, and protects all your important golfing electronics. Now that's cool. The durable Range Gripper also comes in a variety of awesome colors. Grip, secure, and protect all your important golfing electronics with the Range Gripper. Introducing the Putting Stroke Teacher Training Aid. The
putting stroke teacher helps the better player, the PGA Tour player, the pro that wants to get out on tour, because the first thing it's going to do is get these forearms lined up square and your shoulders lined up square. And that's the thing my dad and I worked on when I led the tour in putting, and it's the thing I'm constantly checking today to make sure that those are lined up. And that's going to really affect the path that the putter head swings on. Very easy to set up. You just take two pieces, stick them together, put it on the end of your putter, two little Velcro straps, and boom, you're in and you're ready to go. It's not big, it's very tiny. You can take it apart and stick it in your golf bag. Get the putting stroke teacher and make more putts.
Order the putting stroke teacher today. Golf. Yeah, you love it. But we all know just how frustrating it can be. That's unless you were born with a golf club in your hand. The Legacy Golf Performance Center is a virtual golfer's paradise designed to take your game to brand new heights. Yeah, that high. Our certified and friendly professional staff utilizes all state-of-the-art golf technologies to help get you swinging and putting just like a pro. You got that right. And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
Lee, you won the U.S. Open, you won the British Open, and then you won the Canadian Open in the same summer. Mm-hmm. I believe there's only one other player that's ever done that.
Tiger did it.
Tiger did it.
Yeah, Tiger did it. We have correct. A special trophy that's made out of a trunk of a tree with three golfers surrounding it in a circle. And he and I are the only two that have that. Yeah, he did it too.
6 majors, and I'm sure there's great stories among them all, but I want to ask you about the major you never won, the Masters.
Yeah.
And through the years, there's been a love affair and a not so much of a love affair with the Masters and/or the course and/or personalities involved with Augusta. And I know where I'm going, and he does too, so come along with us.
It had nothing to do with the golf club.
Tell us the real story as to why you were upset and boycotted the Masters for some time. What happened?
It was nothing to do with the Masters. Probably the best. I watched that tournament. I sat on my couch, and I watched it from the par 3 right through Sunday, and I never moved.
But you were mad at one point.
And no, I've always done that. I've not nothing against that tournament.
Right.
The golf course is gorgeous.
What
Probably
happened
the best.
there? Something happened.
It was Cliff Roberts.
What happened?
A ticket situation.
Tell us.
Well, we went there, and I had a caddy that drove me. I had my own car.
What year was it?
I don't know, 68, 69, 69 probably, because I didn't play 68, I don't think. I think it was 69. And we go through the gate, and my guy's driving me. And I go through, and the guard at the gate says to me, he says, Mr. Trevino, he says, you can go through, but he can't. And I says, why not? He says, because he doesn't have a ticket. And at the time, ignorance of the rule on my part, I had no clue that you had to have a different ticket for Monday, Tuesday, and then a different ticket for Wednesday. See, that's the problem.
And this was your driver?
Yeah. And then you have to have a ticket for Thursday. See, there's different tickets. So I have no clue. I'm clueless. I mean, it's my first time there. And so I said, this guy caddies for me, and he drives me. He says he has to go through the other gate. So he had to get out of the car, walk down Washington, get a ticket, buy a ticket at the thing for $15, and go in and meet me at the clubhouse. So I was sitting there complaining about it in the locker room, and here comes Cliff Roberts. And Cliff Roberts jumped right in the middle of me, and I'm the wrong guy to do that to. I came up a tough way, and I'm the wrong guy to get in my face. I don't give a damn who you are. You don't get in my face. And he got to the point to where I ended up in his office, and he and I had it out. He had one guy in there with him. I wished he wouldn't have. And so
because
this is what we do at the Masters, he says. This is what we do at the Masters. That's fine. This is what I do when I don't like to be here. So I took my stuff out of the locker and I put it in my car and I went ahead and played, and I changed my shoes and everything in the parking lot. I didn't go back in the clubhouse. I never went back in the clubhouse.
You never went back in the clubhouse, and you changed, and your locker was your trunk.
Yeah, and it was easier for me anyway because the parking lot was right next to the driving range. I said, what the hell? I said, why do I need to walk on that building up there? The driving range is here. The building you see in the back was the locker room.
But
why do I want to park my car? Listen, why do I want to park my car and walk 150 yards to put on a pair of golf shoes?
He sounds like he's down to earth,
Yeah.
normal guy.
Yeah.
But Lee, this is the Masters. It's Augusta, Bobby Jones.
I had no idea.
People take their shoes off there because it's holy ground, Lee. You didn't know that.
I had no clue who Bobby Jones was. I had no clue who any of those guys were. I didn't know. I'm knowing now. And he may have been the best player that ever played the game, Bobby Jones. I mean, this guy was. I felt his golf club.
But at that time, you had no idea.
I had no idea.
You were in a golf tournament and you wanted to win,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let your caddy in. He had to go down there, and it made you upset. And you mouthed off about it.
Well, wait a
Cliff
minute.
Roberts dragged you into the room, and you guys about went at it.
Yeah, I'd have whipped you. He'd have had a hard time with me in there. I was younger, but that my whole problem, my whole thing with Augusta was Cliff Roberts. He was a dictator. And I don't like that.
And it had nothing to do with the fact that you were Mexican American.
No, they treated me like nothing. See, that was the whole thing. The media was trying to about racial and no. Augusta, Georgia treated me with royalty, and the golf course was magnificent. I loved being there. Some of my best friends were there. I was in business with a dairy there with a friend of mine. I used to go there all the time. But my problem was Cliff Roberts. And you could ask all those old members there, and if they had any guts, they'd tell you the same thing. They had a problem with him also. He was just a crusty, tough old guy, and he ran that the way he wanted to. And you know what he did is he actually went back and did exactly what I said. I said, when people get their tickets for Augusta, why can't we buy daily tickets also, so we have them with us when we go?
I would have thought that you, as a player there, your caddy would have automatically come in with you, and that there would have been all the passes and the players' badges and all that.
I hadn't gone in to register yet.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't gotten there. I just got to the gate.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a little story about Claude Harmon. I'm on the practice tee, and Claude Harmon comes out there, and I couldn't see his ears. And the reason for it is he was like this, and he was steaming. He was so mad he couldn't see straight. And he comes to me, and he says, "You were right." He says, "You were right." And I says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Claude," I said, take it easy. He's my buddy, Claude's dad. And I said, "What? Take it easy." I said, "What is it?" He said, "You're not going to believe what I just went through there." I said, "What happened?" He said, "I had to buy tickets for my 4 sons." And he says, "I won this tournament in 1948.
We'll be back with more match play right after these messages. Introducing the Putting Stroke Teacher Training Aid.
The putting stroke teacher helps the better player, the PGA Tour player, the pro that wants to get out on tour, because the first thing it's going to do is get these forearms lined up square and your shoulders lined up square. And that's the thing my dad and I worked on when I led the tour in putting, and it's the thing I'm constantly checking today to make sure that those are lined up. And that's going to really affect the path that the putter head swings on. Very easy to set up. You just take 2 pieces, stick them together, put it on the end of your putter, 2 little Velcro straps, and boom, you're in and you're ready to go. It's not big, it's very tiny. You can take it apart and stick it in your golf bag. Get the Putting Stroke Teacher and make more putts.
Order the Putting Stroke Teacher today.
Creating a revolutionary product starts by asking, what if? What if we loaded every inch with game-changing innovation? What if we had a flight tuning system to control ball flight, roll face and cup face technologies for explosive power, slipstream sole technology for more speed, and dual carbon tech with 8 adjustable loft settings? And what if all this technology and performance costs significantly less than the competition? Exotic's EXS by Tour Edge. Pound for pound, nothing else comes close.
The Sights and Sounds of Golf, brought to you by Mother Nature and the members of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America.
Mother Nature provides the canvas. We help to make it a work of art. Brought to you by the members of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
6 majors, Lee. Which one stands out to you? And all the tournaments you've won worldwide, everywhere on the 4 corners of the earth.
The playoff, Marion.
Okay.
That was the big one. That was when I really actually was accepted, I think, by all the players. At the time, I had some accepted me and some didn't because of the way I carried myself, and I was loud and everything. And then when I beat Nicklaus, I saw a different thing. We went to Cleveland to play the next week, and
did you get more respect?
Yeah, guys were coming from 2 fairways over. That not even said much to me in my whole time out there. I'd only been out there a year, 2 years, and they were coming and congratulating me and telling me, "Say, you got that son of a gun. You got that son of a gun. You got him," and the whole thing. Yeah. It was that was when I felt I belonged. Yeah.
Who took you under their wing when you first came out and no one knew who you were and they didn't know how good you were going to be?
No, I didn't. I went.
Were you a loner?
I was a loner. My best friend was J.C. Snead.
Okay.
Sam Snead was a good friend of mine. J.C. Snead, Mike Hill.
Did you get some good advice from Sam Snead?
Well, Sam Snead was funny. I used to laugh at him all the time.
Well, me too. I spent a week with him a number of years ago.
Well, you can't interview him because he got to tell you a joke.
No, it's unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
He's got to tell you a joke. Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful. Yeah, but I didn't run too much. We didn't run too much. Of all the years that I ever played, I never had dinner with Nicklaus, went out, or Arnold, or any of them.
What was your relationship with the King?
Oh, jeez. He was the best. He was the best. You know, you couldn't wait to see him. When you saw him, I don't care where he was at, you'd go over there.
Lee, you've seen a whole lot of changes in the game of golf. What is your take on the distance, the power, the technology, the ball?
There's a lot of things.
What about it?
Well, there's a lot of things that come into that equation. Everybody keeps talking about it.
They say golf is at a crossroads, is it?
No. Golf is very healthy. Very healthy. Listen to me when I tell you this. All this equipment that they're making today, they've got these drivers that for faders and stuff and twisted faces, and they got all this stuff that they're making, and everybody's raving about it. They're making golf courses and obsolete and everything. No, the only people that the courses are too short for are the professional. That's got nothing to do with old farms here. It's got nothing to do with other golf courses.
It's the millions of people that buy the clubs can benefit from it.
Well, you can't benefit from it. I mean, I don't care. If you're an 18 handicapper, you ask an 18 handicapper. He gets a new set of golf carts. He gets a new Scotty Cameron putter. He gets a new Ping driver or Callaway driver and everything. And he's got the latest equipment, right? He's still an 18 handicapper. It hasn't helped him. See, all this equipment and all this stuff that everybody is advertising and everything, and they're thinking, no, they're looking at the pro hitting at 350. Let me tell you one of the pros hitting at 325, 350. It's not the golf club. It's a combination of a bunch of things.
Is it the ball?
Listen, let me name you the combination.
Okay.
First of all, the athlete's in better condition. He's taller, he's faster, number one. Number two, the more is better. The fairways are smoother, the greens are smoother, making more putts, okay? They control the water to them, they do all this stuff. That's number two. Second, the driver head. It's 460 cc's or 430 cc's, It's titanium. It's all this baloney, right? And they got the twisted faces and they got all this stuff. That's adding. So these three things that I've just mentioned is adding, believe it or not, 24 yards.
All right, is it really?
8, 8, and 8.
What about the ball?
Wait a minute, I'm not through yet.
Oh, you got more?
Yeah, okay. The shaft.
Oh, yeah.
Now they got a shaft that'll kick in the middle and give you a little bit more head speed. It's added another 8. So now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. You see? So you you got another 8 yards on the shaft.
Sure.
So now you've added 32 yards. Okay? Now you take the ball. The ball is harder. It's got 5 components now that they're making on it. It's harder. It has got a cover inside a cover. The reason the cover's inside the cover is because there's a plastic cover inside the dimple cover. When you smash it with a driver, you will compress the first cover into the second cover. When you hit the second cover, it takes the spin off the ball with a driver, and that's why it slings and stays in the air a long time. It's added 10 to 12 yards. Now you know where we're at? We're at 40.
Yeah. Well, you're at...
These guys, if they had the old stuff, are still hitting it 280.
Okay.
But because of those 5 things, that's why they're hitting it 320 and 315 and 300. All right? This is the reason they're doing it. They got more speed. Nicklaus swung that golf club at 217, 117 miles an hour, 120. Sure, he had a persimmon head, 11 degrees. He had a 42-inch driver that was a double X, which was 140 grams. Okay, he had the K2 ball, and Nicklaus could still hit it 300 yards. He would hit it 400 if he had that equipment today. But there's a lot of things that go into the equation. It's not the ball. And even though he says it's the ball, and the ball contributed to it. But you got to take those other 4 factors to it also. All those other, there's 5 things that add to this.
So, what happens with the golf courses? What happens with the game? What happens with majors? Where are we headed, and does anything need to change?
No.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. You just got to tighten up the fairways and get the fairway higher. You just got to get
the rough.
The problem though is you cheat the patron, and simply because they'll go with a driving iron off the tee. They'll never hit drivers because they can hit the driving iron 300 yards. See, that's the problem. There's not a damn thing.
You had a driving iron, didn't you?
I had
a 1 iron.
I had a 1 iron.
Yeah, and didn't you get hit with lightning?
No.
Somewhere?
No.
You never.
Yeah, I got hit by lightning in Chicago.
Yeah, you did. And at the Western Open.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Just.
Were you near a tree?
No, I was right. I was on the green, and it hit me. I was on the green. And
what did it feel like?
Not good. It knocked me out. It knocked me cold.
Did it knock you cold out?
Oh yeah.
Unconscious?
When I woke up, the ambulance was there. I went to the intensive care for 2 days.
Lee Trevino, thanks for being on Match Play today. Boy, we learned a lot. Have a great time.
5 things.
Golf. Yeah, you love it, but we all know just how frustrating it can be. That's unless you were born with a golf club in your hand. The Legacy Golf Performance Center is a virtual golfer's paradise designed to take your game to brand new heights. Yeah, that high. Our certified and friendly professional staff utilizes all state-of-the-art golf technologies to help get you swinging and putting just like a pro. You got that right.
Golfers, tired of getting your grip wet every time you drop your club? Keep your grip dry with Grip Dry. Just snap it on and your grip is safe from wet grass and sand, even toxic chemicals and fertilizers. Picking up clubs is even easier, and with clubs up and in plain sight, you'll never lose a wedge again. Grip Dry comes in lots of colors to choose from and can even be customized with your name or logo. Only $9.95 for a pack of 3. Order now and we'll double the offer with a second pack free. Elevate your grip, elevate your game with Grip Dry. Go to gripdry.com and order now.